Here it is, quick and dirty video of the 1963 Pearson Triton boat that is for sale. I've done a lot of work making this boat accessible to my disability, but it's all redwood and oak built in with plexiglass. And then a little shelf up there gives you the option of staying in the weather, steering. Got the mahogany doors. I'll show you the best of those when I get outside. Battery box, I got this oak bench that I put in instead of the cabinets. It runs all the way across. Got shelving, all my junk that will go with me unless it's listed on Craigslist. Right here is the where the original bulkhead used to sit. I put in this post and beam, ran this piece of redwood back all the way to where the original cabinets used to go. I'll show you more here in a second. So I got 4 of these sliding hatches. And they go all the way up to the V-berth through this set of the original bulkheads underneath the mast beam right there. I'll show you those in a bit. Alright, so here you can see the box step that sits across this oak. This oak that I was showing you is built on top of the old cabinets. There's the sink drain. That's one of the 3 drains left that needs to be attended to. All the bronze through fittings are there. No more engine. You got the blocks. The shaft has been cut on this side. If you can see it back there, and it's pinned. That's what the duct tape's doing. It's holding the pin through the prop shaft. The prop has been pulled off the back side, and someone would need to glass over that if you want to go somewhere. The original gas tank's back in there. I redid all the windows with 5200. It's got real thick, probably 3/8 inch Lexan in there, and then the original bronze, or maybe not original for this boat, but the bronze port trim, whatever you want to refer to. I have plugs that go in the windows. There's 3 of those, plus ones for the small windows. These handrails are stainless steel bolted through from this side to the outside. There's a lot of unfinished work in this boat. This is the post and beam again. Goes all the way up through the headliner into the deck. This Alaskan cedar mahogany beam. And then of course the post. You can see where the old bulkhead used to be. This under here. This lifts up, and that's where the head used to be. It's just storing paint right now. Back in here underneath my bedding, you can kind of see some of the work I did to level out the 2 settees here inside the cockpit. All this stuff is removable and comes up, and you got storage underneath. Nice and dirty. Yeah, there's 4 of these things, and they all come back up or slide. Like I was saying, 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4th one back there. They slide. The original sole is down there, so you can pop all these out if you want to get your standing headroom back. This piece of redwood runs from the bulkhead right there underneath the beam all the way up into that attachment. This piece pops off or slides back and forth on that rail over there. That's the original backing too. It's probably gonna be gross under here, but let's see if I can get under here. Alright, so what I was showing you, this thing pops up, slides, and got the original that goes all the way back to the bulkhead that sits underneath the deck step. And then what we got over here, I'm sorry you're having to see all of my junk, but I just needed to make this video so people can start seeing what's going on with the boat. Put in this second rail that goes from right there, epoxied in all the way up. Jeez, can't wait to get off this ball. Part of the original bulkhead. Let me move forward. Can you tell yet that I'm a dirty guy with way too much stuff on a little boat? So these sit into that, which was going to be a head at some point and never came to, but it levels out the entire V-berth, which is all filled. But this bench I put in for myself so I could get out the front hatch. Simply unscrews from right there. What I did with the original bulkhead was the lapping had gone bad not on the beam part, but on the bulkhead part. So there's a big seam of fiberglass. I ground it out, punched the fiberglass up in and around the lapping, and then secured it with this piece of redwood. Same thing over here. All of these struts come up into fiberglass thickened epoxy west systems to secure the lapping to the bulkhead. There's one of the chain plates right there. That's the worst of them. The chain plate itself doesn't look bad, just the bolts. And this is the final board that slides. You got your original sole down there with more junk. Yeah, let's see what else. I'll go forward. Oak beam, which supports the deck cleats. Goes all the way forward. The orange spots is all thickened epoxy, which is what the deck hardware mounts into now, instead of the original balsa cord decks. Alright, you can see, well, I lost the mast. Well, you can't anymore, but one of these right here failed, blew open. That main one, I've already taken it down. This is all Kiwi grip. I did all the epoxy work on the decks forward of the companionway where the balsa was delamming. It was just a ton of epoxy pumped into little holes, and it's all solid. You know, I've had my 200-pound buddies walk on the deck and it doesn't move anymore. All the deck hardware I redid. You saw those orange spots underneath the deck. I layered in thickened epoxy over the period of a few days. Just kept laying in a new layer. So all the deck hardware forward right now is going through thickened epoxy, except for that cleat right there. But the forward cleat and then the pulp bit. This was all stuff. This, of course, is all solid fiberglass, and this is the Kiwi grip right here, where I had to redo all the decks. Nice and solid decks. Yeah, this is what it looks like being on a mooring ball in Morro Bay. Actually a beautiful spot to be. Just a little bit too tough for me. Doors built onto the old door frame. This is the saga of a boat that needs desperately a new owner. The old sail track, oak trim. This was a tiller slide right here. That's where the tiller doesn't actually meet that. It comes right down to that. And then these pop up. Mahogany struts across there, and I just sanded out the paint, and they're just thickened epoxy. You could stand on these no problem. There's the new road. I got 250 feet times 2 of new road, and then underneath here is a claw, the Bruce. It's one of the imitation ones, but it is a Bruce claw with about 75 feet of chain. Both the cockpit drains are working. There's the solar panel. Little winches. This is something I built for myself to get on and off the boat, and it simply slides right out. Make a great fishing rod holder for the next owner. Nora's getting nervous. She wants to make sure I don't sell the boat with her on it. Let's go fire up the engine. This is all that remains of the bad balsa cord deck, and I just noticed it when I went in to put this new hardware in a couple of months ago, so it will have to be addressed at some point. It's a small area, and it's not really an issue, but will have to be addressed. Engine hasn't been started in about a week. Just bought the engine back in October. I wouldn't mind doing a huge reduction in the price of the boat and keeping the engine and selling it or using it myself at a later time, or I'd be happy to sell it with the boat at a great discount on a brand new engine. I'm very eager to sell the boat. I don't want to have to pull it into a slip and start paying slip fees and living on the boat. I found a spot on land, but I do need to get rid of the boat before I can move to the spot on land. So I am willing to accept just about any reasonable offer to get me, my stuff, and the dog off the boat and hand it over to somebody else.